Edition of Trailblazer Weekly. I'm Carrick Segmiller, and today we'll update you on some departmental news as the new women's soccer head coach was announced on Monday. Additionally, we'll recap last week's basketball doubleheader sweep of Fresno Pacific, as well as take a quick look into the next week of Dixie State athletics as spring sports are set to begin. It's all coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Trailblazer Weekly starts now. We open the show today with some Dixie State athletics news as the new Trailblazers women's soccer coach was announced on Monday. Dixie State Director of Athletics Dr. Jason Booth announced Monday the appointment of Jerry Lucy as the new head women's soccer coach. Lucy comes to Dixie State after a one-year stint as a volunteer assistant women's soccer coach at NCAA Division I Hofstra University, where he helped lead the Pride to a 15-4-2 overall record, a Colonial Athletic Association tournament title, and a trip to the NCAA tournament this past season. He brings to the Trailblazer program a combined 153, 48, and 19 record over 10 seasons as a head coach with 3 NCAA Division II women's soccer programs. His record also includes 1 NCAA Division II national championship, 8 NCAA tournament appearances, 3 NCAA regional championships, 4 regular season conference championships, and 5 conference tournament championships. And on a press release issued on Monday, Director of Athletics Dr. Jason Booth said, quote, "We had a phenomenal pool of candidates for this opening, and Jerry very quickly rose to the top of the list. His credentials speak for themselves, but beyond that, he is a tremendous individual that will bring fantastic leadership for the program in all areas we need, in the classroom, on the field, and in the community. We are ecstatic to welcome Jerry to Trailblazer Nation and cannot wait for him to get started." Close quote. The women's soccer program completed its 2017 season with a 12-6-0 overall record and finished in a tie for 6th place in the Pac-West standings at 8-5-0. To the basketball court now, as the basketball teams hosted Fresno Pacific on Friday in a Pac-West Conference doubleheader. We'll start with the women's game as the Trailblazers' new Friday's contest versus the Sunbirds was essentially a must-win to keep their Pac-West tournament hopes alive. Fans in attendance were treated to a thriller on Friday night as the teams went back and forth in a game that saw 18 lead changes and 13 ties. Morgan Myers scored the game-winning basket with 13 seconds left. DSU forced a three-point miss on the ensuing FBU possession to clinch an 88-86 win. Ashley Bird led 6 DSU players in double figures with a season-high 17 points to go with 5 rebounds and 4 assists. She was also a perfect 7 of 7 from the field. We've got some highlights from the win ready for you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy some of the sights and sounds of Friday night's win over Fresno Pacific. Let's roll the tape.
Step back 3, straight away, bang! Quickly across the timeline. Martine leaves for Stevenson, another 3 right wing. Why not? Kesley Stevenson drains the 3, 18 to shoot. Martine, right wing 3, no. Maddie Vintling rebound, drives inside, off the window and in. Bringing it to Stevenson, right wing 3 on the way. Yes, with the foul! Kesley Stevenson. Martine drives inside, will lay it up with the left shot, is blocked. Offensive rebound and the putback is good.
Trailblazers are now 10-10 overall, 6-7 in Pac-West play. Currently sitting 8th place, just a half game out of the 6th and final spot of the Pac-West tournament, so it's going to be interesting over the next few weeks to see if the women's basketball team can sneak into that Pac-West tournament for the first time in 4 or 5 years. We stay on the court now, move over to the men's side as the basketball team was looking for its 8th consecutive victory on Friday against the Sunbirds. However, things looked bleak in the early going as FPU built an early 10-0 advantage. Dixie State responded with a 19-4 run to take a 19-14 lead it would never relinquish. Sunbirds stayed close for most of the game, but DSU eventually closed out an 87-74 victory to run the winning streak to 8 games. Wade Miller poured in a career-high 22 points to lead 5 Trailblazers in double figures. Miller tied a DSU single-game record with 6 3-pointers. Don't worry, we've got all the highlights to prove it, so like the women's game, let's roll the tape on the men's highlights win over Fresno Pacific.
To Trevor, hesitates, now drives inside, left-hand shot, won't go, gets his own rebound, he scores the second time. Kicks to Wade Miller, how about another 3, right wing, thank you very much. Trevor getting inside, hangs, hits with contact for Dixie State. Pass ahead to Trevor, into the lane, great helper to Kyler Nielsen, and Kyler will lay it up and in. Trailblazers can tie with a 3 here. They'll bounce inside, Trevor Hill, picked up Price. Trevor kicks to the right corner, Wade Miller 3 on the way, bang! Just like the first half. Baseline left side, back to Wade Miller, left corner 3, bang! Wade Miller, another Team Diato 3 earlier in the game.
Yeah,
Trevor
I
bouncing to
definitely think
Wade
he's
for
hurt it.
3 left wing. Bang! There's one of the assists.
Dixie State is now 14-6 overall and in sole possession of first place with an 11-2 mark in Pac West play. Can the Trailblazers hang on and clinch Pac West title? We'll find out over the next couple of weeks. Quick note on baseball before we run to break is the Trailblazers are now just over a week from opening day. Dixie State was picked to finish third in the 2018 Pac West Conference preseason coaches poll released last week. Trailblazers returned 3 starting position players, 2 starting pitchers, 14 total letter winners, and 4 redshirts from the 2017 squad that advanced to the NCAA West Regional Final. Dixie State senior first baseman Logan Porter and junior third baseman Bryce Feist were both voted the Pac West preseason team. In addition, Porter and Feist were also named to the 2018 NCBWA West Region second team. It's time for a quick break. We'll wrap up the show with a look ahead at the upcoming schedule right after this timeout.
Radio Dixie 91.3. We don't play that. Nope, not that. A big fat no there. That's what we play. And stuff like that. On St. George's only alternative, Radio Dixie 91.3. Oh, and from 9 till midnight, we play this.
I need a one dance.
And this. Radio Dixie 91.3 FM.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel, someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
Where do you find the titans of classical music in St. George? Classical music on Radio St. George 100.3 FM. Where do you find the legends of jazz? Evenings on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
Back inside the CEC TV studios in this week's edition of Trailblazer Weekly. Before we wrap up the show, let's take a quick look at this next week's schedule in Trailblazer Athletics. Follow along on your screen. Finally getting more than just basketball going is the first of the spring sports underway this week, and that starts off our look ahead. Softball team in action hosting Northwest Nazarene in a doubleheader at Carl Brooks Field. That will start at 1 p.m. on Thursday, February 1st. Invite you to come out to an afternoon game. You can catch a game at 1 or just the second game at 3. Catch some great Dixie State softball and get a preview on what this year's team will look like against Northwest Nazarene on Thursday. Later that day in Hawaii, remember the 3-hour time difference right now between St. George and Hawaii, the basketball teams, women's and men's basketball teams on the 2-game Hawaii trip, first at Chaminade in Honolulu on Thursday. That game will tip off at 5, the women's game at 5:30 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 8:30 back here in St. George. The men's game will tip off at 7:30 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 10:30 p.m. back here in Utah. Moving ahead to Saturday, February 3rd, basketball teams completing their 2-game Hawaii trip at Hawaii Pacific, also in Honolulu. The women's game will tip at 1 p.m. Hawaii time, which is 4 p.m. Utah time, and the men's game at 3 p.m. Hawaii time on Saturday, which is, of course, 6 p.m. back here in St. George. Moving ahead to next week on Monday and Tuesday, February 5th and 6th, women's golf in San Diego at the Point Loma Reach 2018 Invitational Tournament as the first of the golf teams get started in this next week. So again, some spring sports underway with softball and women's golf. Baseball and men's golf and the rest of those spring sports team are right around the corner as well. Just the next week, we'll tell you about those ones next week on the show. Remember, we'll have as many of highlights as we can from those Hawaii games, men's and women's basketball, next week on the show. Stay tuned to Dixie State Athletics for recaps on those, as well as live video and live stat links as well. That'll do it for today's show. We'll remind you that you can catch all episodes of Trailblazer Weekly on demand at the Dixie State Athletics YouTube page. That is youtube.com/Dixie State Athletics, where you can watch the show anytime, anywhere. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Trailblazer Weekly.